Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back, everyone. How are you doing? Hey, Malfrey. Hey, Tuxedo. Hey, Rod. Hey, Stuart and Jeff. Hey, Morlask and Nathan. Hey, Aetherline and Kenny. Hi, Joy Monkey. Hi, Liz. TJL and Pop Away. Hey, Nogorot. Who else do we have? Eclipse. How is it going? Aetherline, thanks for being a member. Hey, well, Jackie and Maurice and Holtz. Okay, let's see. Let me get things organized here. How's things coming across? Everything good? Let's go there. Thunder Keys. Thanks for being a member. Oh boy, that was a good break. I hope everyone found something to do on Sundays. Hey, Bill. I got a lot done. We're going to talk about some of that today. So, a lot of kind of decompressing from getting ready for Smurf, and then in the same time as compressing to get ready for Rocky Mountain and the other big release that we revealed there. So, hey Sean, hey Raj, hey Questionable Choices, hey Bill, Keith and Kittrell and Chevron. Oh, thanks for being a member. Almost 4 years, holy moly. Hey Steve and K2 Kevin. I got a 98 last night. I'd hear about your journey to get to Rocky Mountain. Oh boy. Yeah. Thanks for being a member. James and Neil and Rod. Hey, lol. Tiago and Steve. Okay. We are going to drink some coffee. Hey, Boydie and Steve. Clownhammer. We are going to talk about Rocky Mountain, and we're going to fill it in with unboxing the next big build. So the next big build on the channel will be the Vertigo printer. So I have all the stuff for that, and I have all the parts printed. It's a lot of printing. That's one of the things that I did, was cycling prints on, I printed it all on the Core 1L, because they highly recommend calibrating your shrinkage compensation, and that's the only printer I did for this filament for that calibration, because it takes a little bit of effort. So let's see here, let me make sure I can read everything. Apparently YouTube made a change and things are now pinned on the bottom. Yeah, they did that even about a month and a half ago. Thanks for the memberships, Bill. Neil, thanks for being a member. So this will be probably a little scatterbrained as we bounce around between topics today, kind of getting back to it. We did a little bit yesterday on the member stream. The other thing we did on the member stream is kind of worked on. People worried about whether we'd actually be coming back. Well, we're coming back with a vengeance, a long list of projects that we could get to. So we kind of brainstormed this yesterday and talking about things that I have parts for and builds that I have coming up, and there's no context here, so some of this is more set in stone than others, but this is kind of the idea of what is going on. So just a quick little preview there of what we chatted about on the member stream yesterday. Here, let's go here, because we've got a little monster here that is very needing of attention and treats. Hey, Salty Day. What else we got here? Keith, thanks for being a member. Scatterbrained here, no way. Hey, Steven. Is that just public streams or member streams too? Oh, that's mostly member streams. The only thing that's, sorry, I said that wrong. That's mostly public streams. The only things they're listed that are definitely for member stream are the RC car builds. I'm hoping to start the Casadio Impreza build for the May member stream. So that'll depend on my ability to get some prints going for that, but it would be nice. I've been wanting to do that one for longer than I've wanted to do the Torque from 3D sets. So we'll start with the Subaru. Do I need to turn the list into a proper project Gantt chart? No, because that'll completely kill my motivation to do any of it. So, okay. Rocky Mountain was awesome. We front loaded all of our problems for the trip. Bill got here, we finished loading up, and as we're about to leave on time for the first time for this trip, noticed that one of the tires was low and it had a nail in it. So I'm going to keep this fairly short, but that started a whole thing of 2 U-Haul locations, and 4 hours later we had new tires on there and we were on our way. So that put us into Salt Lake City at 2 a.m. Mountain Time. 11-hour drive. We left here about 2. 11 hours later, we pull into Salt Lake City, and oh, thank you, Brent. Droid. Let me put that on the list. I completely forgot about that. You weren't here yesterday. You weren't here to remind me. I put Droid on the list. See? Droid. Max was not able to make it. Bill was very kind to fill in and keep me company on the trip, keep each other company. It was a blast. So we made it there. We got there on Thursday. We let ourselves sleep in on Thursday morning, so we got there early evening on Thursday, and then went with the trip. 2 a.m. was brutal. Tuxedo, thanks for the gifted memberships. Hey, Matto. I couldn't make it. That's fine. That's fine, Brent. I'm just giving you a hard time. Let me see what's the easiest way to bring up, because we can probably bring up pictures. Let me pull this thing around. Rod, thanks for the gifted memberships. Let's see. I have a channel in the... How can I do this effectively? I didn't really think this all the way through. What if let me see if I can do this. Photo library. Let's go back. And can I select? Let me see here. I've got almost all. So bear with me. I thought I was adequately prepared, but I probably could have been better prepared. I'm going to create a collection here. All the pictures I took at the event. Let's go here. There we are. Here, and can I add to an album? We're gonna say new album 2026 and create. Hey Marcel. Hey Thomas. Hey Slightly Lifted and Joel. Hey Icon. Hey Kenneth. Okay, so I think this will do. Let's put this over here and just do like this. Here we go. So we started our Friday with snow. This is the view out the hotel window. It's not great. It doesn't really show it, but this shows it a whole lot better. It has already been a week. Have any recommendations on budget V0 kits? I'm not sure what's out there in the budget. There's a lot of companies that make V0 kits, and I don't know that I've heard that any are awful. So hoping to say hi next year. Smurf would be your first convention. For all I know, I will be at next year's Smurf. That is the plan right now. So yeah, we got some pretty good snow right around I mean, it was right at and ended right after setup day or setup times. It didn't last a whole lot of time, but it was enough to make some very fluffy snow. Made some pretty good snowballs. So, hey, Tom. Oh boy, can I not just cycle through here? Let's see. There we are. And here's the booth. So this is just one table of the 3 that we had at the booth. There's Bill and Taylor there. But this is my red V0 that was on the cover of Make Magazine. I like to bring that along to the shows. This is Telxoid's Trident R2 and Atomic Vector Plotters, Trident R2, and then my Stealth Changer there. Load in with lots of snow, yep. It wasn't very wet, it was very fluffy. It was very fluffy. Yeah, it wasn't a big deal. We were able to back the trailer into the big bay door and dealt with a minimum bit of snow. Oh, there's a little closer picture. I posted this into the chat. Notice the sticker there. Little actual soon, not Voron soon sticker that Dr. Mercy made for us last minute. Big thank you to him. This is the index. So it's right behind me, right here. He struck me as a Linux guy. I want to be a Linux guy, but I'm not. I'm a wannabe Linux guy. We have an actual soon Discord sticker. Nice. That started in a I think voice chat, Voron voice chat, and we're gonna briefly thought about having shirts made, but was able to get some stickers made at last second. So this is my cousin and her daughter, and we have not seen each other in many, many years. So I spent a good several hours of the Saturday showing them around, and that was a blast. Their daughter let me hold her for an extended period of time. I had a good time. This is, so going through here, it's a lot of just things that I saw I don't necessarily know a whole lot about, but I thought it was interesting. This is at the LDO booth, and if you zoom in on these things, I tried to get some sort of information into the pictures to self-document it, either a QR code or whatever. But this is a eject system, auto eject plate changing system. Looks like for a Core 1. So, yep. And then, like I said, I tried to get some pictures to show. So for anybody that doesn't know, all of these pictures are in my Discord. There is a thread in the general chat channel for Rocky Mountain. So if you want to get a closer look at any of these, Discord join link is in the description. Come on in and go search for the thread and you'll find it. It opens and closes at R2. That's cool. Had to get a picture of the Core 1 index that was there. And this is one of the cool features that's kind of sprung more recently, the last weekend, is an eddy current or inductive sensing for nozzle offsets. There's 2 of them here. One of them is to cancel out background noise. This is really cool. I hope it works really well. Yeah, Dave has a bunch of pictures out there. Yep. And I put a link in the description of those. So if you want to see, I think it's Dave Wheeler, photographed much of the event, and I put the picture in there. A little better view at the tool head. I'm guessing that this PTFE solution here isn't final because it doesn't seem quite on par. But there is a waste bin here with a nozzle wiper on the side. This was really cool. So this is the Antithesis group. And they took the published index CAD and printed mock-ups of a little turret style changer that is perfect for the antithesis printer. So because that printer only moves the tool head in Z, it's not as big a concern for weight. So this is really cool. I'm really anxious to see them, their final implementation, if it works or not. They said they can do up to 9 tools on this before the angle, the bend radius of the PTFE tubes becomes a problem. But yeah, that goes on this printer. So this is the antithesis. I have parts for 2 different versions of this. I have had parts for the Mark III version of this for a while. I really need to build both because these parts are too nice to not build it. I've got all the printed parts done. This is all PPS CF. And then I had, so these all came, the anodized parts all came from Kiloprints, gave these to me, and I had them anodized. So they came to me raw and I had them anodized, and they just turned out so good. I can't not build this, but my motivation to build it kind of deflated a little bit when they release a new version, which is a more printed version. So I have this, and at the show, they gave me, the antithesis group gave me the parts that are unique and also build sheets for the Aether version. So we will see that in some sort of build series, probably a Wednesday build series at some point. What's up? What's up, kitty? He's on the cascade. Actually, this will be easier. Ah. Yes. What are you gonna do? He's acting like he's gonna jump somewhere. So this is the Aether version. I need to source some parts to finish it off, but hey, Rick. Hey, Andy. Hey, Leo. Looks like a 2-hour build. Nothing's a 2-hour build. Eddy nozzle alignment thing working with clippers. So Josh, that eddy current nozzle alignment has been a thing for a while. The same person who did Eddy in G, which we looked at during the Modbot collab build on the Tic Tac build, they have a in progress project for doing exactly that. It is stalled a little bit in terms of time and stuff like that, but it is definitely possible to do. Let's see. This, I don't remember. Maybe I have a picture here with more information, but this is actually kind of cool, the next part. This person, I don't remember their name, but I've met them at Open Source a couple of times. It's a neat little printer, but there we go. Sugar Cube and Quicksilver. They had a couple of printers there, and there's some information there. You can get these QR codes, either scan them here or in the Discord. But this is a really neat little project they have. I don't know if this is going to come across. Headphone warning. I have no idea how loud this is going to be, but I'm going to hit play because it's really cool. We're playing music with a little MIDI generator. Oh, didn't want to do that. Oh, maybe here's a better one. Anybody recognize that? Any guesses? There you go. And I think I have a, there we go. Yeah, there's Zelda sitting there on the, and there's more information there. That was really neat. One of the more unique things we see at a show like this. Very cool. This is Luke's Project Redwood. So this is a mid-range printer on the scale of things. Little beyond hobbyist level into more production style. It has a really cool pull-out tray for the electronics. The construction makes it really easy to assemble and get together. I think it basically builds the different layers and then they're just put together with the corners. So yeah, more prosumer, but I think maybe a little beyond prosumer. Maybe right there. So there is some, I don't know if we can zoom in on that and see info, but there's a little, another picture of it. Oh, there we go. I got a bigger picture of it. I tried to do this. I don't remember. Oh, there we go. Target price $5,000. So I guess, yeah, solidly prosumer. Target price $5,000 for the IDEX 90C chamber, $3,000 for open air single tool. Yes, I believe that is true, Dr. Dave, and welcome. Here we go. This is the next project. So this was at the LDO booth. This is the Vertigo. A third the price of Vision Mine. That's true. Yep. This is the Vertigo printer. It has its gimmick or extra thing is that the bed tilts back and slides the parts off the print bed so you can do continuous or queued prints. We'll get into this. Second part of this stream will be unboxing so I can start getting organized for next weekend where we'll actually start the build next Sunday. Hey, Surf. This was a cool multi-axis polar printer. I didn't get a lot of information on it, but I got a picture of it because it's really cool. Some of the stuff they were printing with it, I think I got a picture of. Oh, there we go. There we go. There's a QR code for it. And they're printing, I got a little video of it printing. Isn't that cool? The slicing on this just, I don't even know. But the more of that stuff, so interesting. So anybody start thinking, how would you actually, what is the actual practical or even artistic applications for this? Or specifically, how do you take advantage of multi-axis for printing printer parts? Is there anything that we could do with this that we wouldn't be able to do in our traditional printing setup? Like optimizing layer lines for part strength. I didn't actually talk to them. I was walking by, I got some video, got some pictures, but I'll be able to look it up via the QR code later. But we talk about the concept of we can optimize layer orientation, but what's an actual example of that is what I'm looking for. Because we can talk about concepts and it sounds cool, but you got to twist your brain a little bit and think a little different ways to how do you actually apply that. Unlimited on length, etc. Yeah. Let's go next. Some example prints that they had. That can I rotate that? Whatever. I didn't pay attention. Yeah, it hurts my brain. That's for sure. This is the little SLM kind of home possible home brew or home shop SLM. Scrap Labs. And then a little bit of example prints. I think I got a couple other, there we go. There's the QR code for that. Printed a curved truss section and the overhangs were a killer. 5-axis would do it, no sweat. Yeah, that is true, Neil. That would be awesome. Hey, Martin. Hey, zombie. Yeah, this is really cool. Lots of questions on it. I got a picture because the only talk I attended, because it was important, and I wanted to hear everything I can, is on the 3D printing laws that are going on. As some of you know, I went, was there at the Capitol, California State Capitol, in support of David's speech in opposition to the bill. There is more information out there. I'll try to get some links out there. So anybody who, I encourage anybody to write in, especially if you're in California or one of the states affected, write in and express your concerns. I won't get into it deeply here, but it is a very important topic. Yeah, low for SLM. These are the structural panels at Fabrico's booth that they're working on. Wanted to get a few things here. It's on a V2 and a Trident here. The most overkill calipers. I think they're Bluetooth connected and have a little screen there, and I don't even remember what all the functions are. Along with some lightweight rails and some carbon stuff. This was the Micro Swiss, their CHT, but it's along the entire heat break, basically, the entire nozzle. What those panels they were talking about, using aerogel insulation for them. Cool. You can get the DIMMs directly into CAD. So, thought it was an interesting shape, and there's a couple of examples there. This is the hyperdrive. What do they call this? I've got they gave me the parts to build this, so we're going to include it. Hypernova. I have the parts, the unique parts. I need to get fans and provide my own extruder and such for this. We'll probably maybe use this on the gray Trident when we do that as part of the project stuff. I need my calipers to be 5G. Actually, I might end up, I mean, I don't know if it's possible, but I also have the parts for the Papilio Legend extruder, the little belted extruder. So that'll be a fun little bit. Maybe we can combine those. This guy is wondering, why have I not gotten treats yet? Big Tree Tech had a dryer spool holder thing for the U1. This is the Crooked Crow, which is Rob Mink's project. Did I get any? Apparently that, what is going on there? Oh. What is the exclamation point there? Is it saying it can't read it? Because I thought maybe was there a video? I don't know. Anyway, Crooked Crow. It converts between a belted 45 degree or 90 degree printer. So he's not getting enough attention in front of me, so it's clawing my back. I think I got a picture here of, oh, no, I didn't get info on that, but it's the Crooked Crow. Hey, Andres. The Magpie printed printer. I think I got a picture of it. Yeah, there we go. This was right next to Rob. A bit of info there. I thought this was funny. Using the heat output from the mining processors as the only heating source for the bed and the dryer here. A little information on that. This is, what was the thing here? This is the micron. What was the deal? Do I have another picture? No. What was the deal with this one? Why did I take a picture of this? It's a 120 micron, which you don't see a whole lot of. But I don't remember what the deal was here. This is another little welding, additive via welding. You would think that they would have some little more than cat Tootsie Roll looking things. I've got a 120 micron, almost never use it. Finisher mercury. Yeah. And they had quite a spool problem here. I'm guessing that this happened and they said, no, we're just going to make it worse if we try to fix this. Yeah, it's a whole unit there. Jeff got a paint job. Jeff got a paint job. Yeah, copper, yeah. Oh, more so. Jeff got googly eyes. Those are some gigantic googly eyes. Those are some gigantic googly eyes. DLL PDF has these cool integrated heater beds. They are quite spicy in terms of heat and price. They're 1,000 watts for the 300 millimeter and also $1 per millimeter. Hey, Traxman. Hey, Philip. Hey, Admiral Adama. That's funny. Suggestion of putting these on a Phoenix, but then you think that's 4,000 watts and $1,200 to put this on Phoenix. Ouch. And I think that's the last picture. Yeah, that's the last picture I took. I don't know that we'll go through the Dave Wheeler pictures. I don't know if that's necessarily worth it. But we can talk about R2 and we can talk about index. And let me grab, there's box 1 of 2. Oh, jeez. Okay, Oscar. And we can get into a little bit of this. We can do a little bit of everything. Who did I miss? Hey, Kevin. Hey, Kenny. Lee Marie installed one yesterday. Oh, one of those beds. Hey there, Ranch Kid. Okay. Let's see. Where is my knife? Where? Just had it. Okay, we'll use a different knife. Logan wants Oscar treat. Vertigo is a kit. Yep. Vertigo is a kit. It is going to be fun. We'll talk about it a little more. I just wanted to kind of just start messing around with stuff. Get this over here. What are we showing? Okay. Are you ready for treats? Okay, let's do treats. Let's get Oscar on here. Is he gonna come up here? Let's do these treats. Let's see if we can get him up here. Will you come up here? Come up here? Come up here? Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Come on. He's not so sure. Come on. Do. Right here. He won't do it. Here you go. What a good boy. Over here. Over here. There you go. Here. There you go. Give you a little more room there. Definitely. His skittishness overrode his desire for treat. Good job. Clean my finger. Good job. Okay. Let's do this. Kind of like I said, it's going to be a little scatterbrained. We're going to talk about index and R1. So maybe we can get some. A little bit of all of it. Felix is not as, he comes out here, but he doesn't tend to stay out here. Felix is not treat motivated. Oscar is very treat motivated. So, so this is the index Trident that is updated to the latest parts, fully enclosed as you see, and was printing all weekend at the show. Not optimally, because I didn't have a chance to print it before leaving, but we did get it printing there, and yeah. Is there a downside to a 350 Trident over a 300? Why LDO doesn't do a kit? Want to build a 350 with an index for multi-material on HueForge, was wondering why they're not so common. I wouldn't be surprised if LDO starts offering a 350 Trident, but I don't know for sure. Chatted with Jason a little bit about it at the show. I think the changes we did in Trident R2 are beneficial for many projects, including the index implementation here. It allows us to maximize or minimize the bed loss beyond what is possible to do right now with V2. So put a clicky clack door on here because the tools stick out a little bit. How do you feel about the CPAP edition? Is that the way to go with index? I have not tried. I have the ducts for the 4010 fan. So I don't know. Oh, hey, Logan. Yeah, I don't know how I feel. I made this little mount in the back for Tridents. I'll publish this. I'm not sure if I've published it yet, but I'll get it out there for sure. For the Big Tree Tech CPAP version. The extrusion for the spool holders looks like 1515. Yeah. So this is something I did very last minute. removable 1515 based, and uses a switch wire spool holder that goes on the side of the printer. And this worked really well. Hey, there's a Felix, but he's already on his way out. I don't know if anybody caught a glimpse of him in the background. I heard the 4010 ducts, wasn't sure about the CPAP noise. Well, you don't run it at 100%. For PLA, I've been running it at like 35%. So, George, I have not printed on this. I have not printed with all 6 tools yet on this. So, love the spool holders, but wish they were dry box. My figure is if I need something that's dry, I'll just stick poly dryer boxes around the printer and route it. The top hat, LDO doesn't make a 250 top hat, so I got a 300 kit and cut the extrusions down. Are index bar mount holes integrated into the R2 Trident front idlers? No, but it's only a printed part change. So the front, just the front cover here is all that changes. So, and it kind of looks like the little pinch, the little, the little pinch emoji. It's just these pieces and the front idler that change here as far as printed parts there. The other part of the spool management, I kind of like this. This turned out pretty well. And then I have some PTFE holders that just clamp to the corner of the extrusions that worked out pretty good. So I'm really happy for that, considering it was fairly last minute coming together. Bar mount holes. I'm going to use the top hat from the 350. Building up would be okay size. Motocross, thank you. The index only will work with Trident. No, you can use it on, it's a DIY, it's a dev kit. So you can use it on any printer. It's a matter of doing your own or finding an integration for it. So this integration is not a Voron project, it's a me project. But obviously there was some influence in being able to do this into the R2 revision process. Hey Scott, how will you handle posting your index XTLs? I'm sure Voron will have official R2 and your GitHub will have, yes. And I may put some of it on printables. Might be a good way to farm some Prusa meters. I'm using 2.5 millimeter tubing, ID tubing, Justin. So we have Trident R2, and the changes to make this work well are just in the bed mounts here. The R2 changes allow for some adjustment in the bed position. So the bed is moved back 8 millimeters, and that's it. So the bed mounts and these front brackets, along with the 1515 extrusion, are the main parts. Now, I made a little PTFE inlet plate on the back. I have one for 6 and I have one for 5. So people need to roll their own if they want something different than that. The reason for the 2.5 tube, it just doesn't kink as easy. So, how easy is it to load and unload filament? Pretty easy. I mean, you grab a tool and heat up the nozzle and push the filament in and extrude it a little bit. Do I need integrated Z screw steppers for R2? It is designed around integrated lead screw steppers, yes. Same as the R1, same as the original Trident. Hey, Tulsa Skin. We can talk about, I've got this piece here. This is effectively half of the gantry that we had at the show as a demo for folks. Hey, Kobe. So the new BA drive system with support for long shaft steppers. alternate belt path. So the bearing idler stack. So here's the a parts change is you need an extra 2 F695 bearings in the 1 millimeter shims per side. So if you have long shaft steppers, you need an extra 3 per side. Will it play nicely with 9 millimeter belts? No, you'd need to do a complete redesign for 9 millimeter belts. So this little change, do I have a piece here? I have one. Do I have another? I've been cleaning up. This is the inside of an older version. So, and this is the other side, but the belt goes in here, and all these little printed features to catch the belt and turn it in the right direction to help with the belting. You do not get double shear with short shafts. The only way to do that is if you mounted the A stepper on top and the B stepper on bottom. That's the only way to possibly do that. And even then, the spacing gets really tough to get it done. How long do stepper shafts need to be for the dual shear? I'd like a common size is 35 millimeter, but they don't need to be quite that long. They're sticking up, I would say 32. You might be able, if you don't want it to go completely through the bearing, you might be able to get away with a 30 millimeter, but a typical size is 35, and that's what I would recommend, 35 or longer. Oh, absolutely, Sean. Absolutely. So Grant's troubles in routing the belts was a major factor in being able to, or designing for making it easier to belt. You know, really beyond the BA drives back here, the XY joints is a major change in terms of reshaping. It's not focusing very well, but reshaping parts in a similar way, so that when you push the belt in the direction, it comes out here. It doesn't come out here. I was planning to use index on my 350 Voron, but almost everyone is installing on only Trident. There will be implementations. There will be integrations for Voron 2 and Voron 0. I mean, Bondtech has done their own for Voron 0. They did for Trident. I've gone in a little different direction on some things, but I was also doing it with R2 in mind. Did anybody catch that I had a version of these BA drives on index from the beginning? I had them installed on the index printer from the very beginning. Every time it was shown on a stream, it had a version of these stepper mounts. So, yeah, I'll get there, Steven. So the XY joints have an accent piece here. The idea here is it covers up some of the screws, like these M3x40s are new. They stick out a little bit. They get covered, and this also allows for swap out this piece. If you have like the end stop pod, it'll be a different piece you print for this. R2 would recommend, it will support drag chains, but we'll recommend an umbilical setup. And there is some swing arm style options that are being finalized. So and then the front idler. So one of the big things to get the travel on systems like Index is like here. This whole mount is moved back 3 millimeters, and this sticks out to help locate the rail. But there's 3 millimeters of extra travel on each end allowed. Some over travel allowed on the Y rail. There's a socket head screw here for a similar reason, to make sure that someone doesn't install the rail far offset and have too much over travel. Idler side. Yeah, I'll show that. I'll show the front idlers a little closer here in a minute. Why 1515 for index dock mount? Because it gives you the a little slimmer than a 2020 piece, but also, do I have one out here? I did not bring one out here. The docks that the tool holders that Bondtech made, the spacing between things requires less than 20 millimeters. So 15 works really well. Zerncho, welcome. Sensorless would still work with this well too. Yep. Can we get some sneak peek at plans for future tool heads, something like A4T or Stealth Burner redesign? I don't have anything to share there. The scope of this update is in the motion system, so there won't be updates to the tool head, that kind of stuff. Something else did I say this revised belt path results in 53 millimeters less belt length. And Zerncho has done some testing on a optimized gantry setup, which I still have here. He was kind enough to let us borrow it for the show. This showed up on Grant's video, but this is a little thing that Zerncho made, obviously using this Fusion orange filament specifically for testing changes and input shaper results. And I don't have the exact numbers off the top of my head, but for the percentage decrease in belt length, there was a corresponding increase in input shaper performance. Is that accurate, Zerncho? So this was there so people could get a good look at the whole gantry assembled. So we'll just set that right there. This is a little easier to move around and see. Pizza oven is the name. Yeah, someone's mentioning we did replace all the M5 hex nuts and thread into plastic parts with M5 heat sets. And these are the short version. So maximum 6 millimeter length. Actually exceeded the percentage of belt length change. That's nice. So M5 heat set, 6 millimeter maximum length. The 5.8 millimeter long CNC kitchen ones are perfect. There's 2 heat sets in each. There's 15 total if you replace all the hex nuts in the printer, but there's 2 in each stepper mount. There's 2 in each XY joint, 1 in each corner or pivot point on the bed, and 1 in each corner of the feet. So 15 total, Stephen. Shaft support showed a performance increase, and by enabling higher tension should support even more performance. R2 performance better in multiple ways. I don't have any handy right now, Neil. I would have to go looking back in the dev channels to find them, and I don't want to fumble with that right now. Front idlers. So Zerncho asked what I thought was the most clever part, and I am very proud of the front idlers because this is a really cool evolution of parts. This is derived from the BFIs by Klee, right? And I had a goal of having a front idler. At the beginning, I had a goal for this revision to have a front idler with a single screw adjustment. I don't like the 2 screw adjustment. I think there's too much opportunity for assembly error there. So that's a big part of this whole setup, is trying to minimize the chance for alignment errors, assembly errors. So to that extent, let's do a little squirrel moment here on the BA drives. This is an old version, but the current revision of Trident uses things like this, printed indexing parts. There's always going to be some play in those, or most often going to be some play in there. So I wanted a more reliable method of indexing those two halves together, because if they're not exactly indexed, then your bearing stack has some shift in it. So I used just M3 socket heads, and there's a corresponding part, a little hex-shaped part in the other piece, and that will make these more reliable in sticking together with no play. So similar on the front, I wanted single screw addressment, and I wanted some way to make sure that this bearing stack can't tilt. That's a major cause of belt wear in the current, the released version of Trident right now. So I had a version that I came up with that looks nothing like this, that the bearing carrier looks nothing like this, that did use single screw. And then let me get a screwdriver so we can show. And then the carrier ran on some M3 screws that I used some 3mm ID PTFE. There we go. So some 3mm ID PTFE to align and constrain the bearing carrier. So I had that in our dev channel. Heart K adapted those ideas and came up with basically this bearing carrier into the BFI design. So this is effectively, it's been revised, but this is effectively the bearing carrier that Heart K came up with. I changed it by minimizing the distance between these two screws. So everything here, all of the layers are in compression instead of in tension. So heat sets on the front here, pulling everything together, belt forces here, and then the heat set is on the other side of this for the tension screw. The changes I made is I minimized the distance between these two screws. There's an M5x16 in here as the shaft for the bearings. And then I added some plastic in different areas. This is for like belt routing plastic. And then I made the whole thing 3mm shorter, which didn't have enough room for two screws on top. It turns out that it's a lot nicer to have a screw going in from the front for aligning this thing anyway. So this guy goes in here. And the front goes in here. So yeah, what I'm most proud of this, the evolution of the part, incorporating what I think is a very useful setup as far as keeping this bearing absolutely vertical. And when you move this, if anybody had a chance to play with this, this is very smooth. You don't get any of that layer on layer plastic sound. So, and then this is modified to be a little thicker and with some heat sets on the side for the index implementation. I like how these designs slowly become obvious and simple. You know, you have a good design when it's like that. Yeah, so some of this, I mean, this front idler started 2 years ago. People are asking about timeline. How long does it take to develop this kind of thing? This is like 2 years ago. This was well over a year ago, started on this. But you kind of, the way I work is I just kind of think about something and wait for some sort of inspiration to hit. And over the last 5 or 6 months, that is stacked up to where things started coming together. The rest of the gantry and then the Z changes started coming together. And that's why we're here at a point where we're imminent on a full release for an update to the printer. Using M4 metal shaft or rod instead of PTFE make any difference? It's I think the thing I like about the PTFE here is utilizing existing materials and easy to get things within our space. M4 metal rod may be available, but it's a new thing. This is something we already have in the BOM and in the builds. So. The others, so I don't know if I can get a good view here. I don't have examples for the Z changes, but effectively the Z steppers used to be mounted to a thick plate that bolted in from the top. When I was building this printer, actually, originally, I spent a lot of time shimming this stepper at the mounting holes to align the lead screw to go through the exact center of where the lead screw nut goes. It did not take a lot of change, but there was a change to make that work. And I suspect that bolting from the top on one side of the stepper was potentially causing the inside to want to lift. So the change here is the stepper mounts to a block that bolts in to the side of these bottom extrusions. We're gonna need new belt tensioning tools for these higher tensions. With plastic parts, I don't know that we want to go beyond the 3mm that the current PF makes meter goes to, but that's to be determined in some more extreme at the limits testing. Hey, Bob. When is the release? Actual soon, not Voron soon. How is external cooling on this index? Better than Stealth Burner? Well, I have a CPAP setup on here, so. Hey, John. Hey, Sarah. The other changes in the Z assembly is the pivot points for the bed frame. I rotated those out and forward to give a sizable gap here. It used to be only a couple of millimeters between the bed frame and the lead screw nut. Relocating the pivot point gave a gap, which allows you to print those different parts to shift the bed forward and back. Might not be able to see it. Might be able to see it down here. Very important thing that everybody kept asking for. There is an accent piece on the back Z carriage. Oh, and these covers. Let me see if I can get a little better view down there. There we go. So these covers, let's just take one off. Let's take one off because I think folks will like this. I've mentioned many times that I'm not a big fan of the inverted electronic setups, but many people are. And I did not design this with that in mind. However, the way it turned out does make it very easy to do inverted electronics. Oh yeah, the Z-rail moves to the rear, to the side of the extrusion in the back, and gives you a lot more space. That's the only way I could get that adjustment. Anyway, the panel just will pop right up from here. So you can just remove some screws and pull the panel, or someone could come up with some other clever way of covering that's easier to remove. To run good. That printer on a long hold with index coming out soon. Do you recommend a fresh build? I would recommend having a reliable working printer before you do a major conversion on it. They will continue in sequence, Gertrude. Yes, for the thank you noticed, Andrew. Black shirt and orange cat do not mix. The other thing that I don't think I've mentioned anywhere is this is a little piece here that just allows us to add and remove these covers and have a minimum amount of gap for debris to fall down in there. But this little corner piece hides a wire path. So there's a sizable wire path on both sides of the front now. So if someone was doing some sort of quad XY setup and they needed a path for steppers, or you're doing a camera and you want to run a USB cable down there, there's enough room to do that. So, hey, Dom. So that, it also moves the stepper down. I think it's 16 millimeters, which gets the top of the lead screw out of the way of some of the larger fan duct tool heads. Set those in there. I think that's about it. Any questions on? Wasn't mentioned, was it? No, I don't think there's a lot of little things I forgot to mention. But yeah, the release, it's still one of those things that who knows what happens, but we really do expect it to be actually soon. Not Phoenix soon, not Cascade soon. Although Cascade released, that's exciting. Will the new Z drive support coupler and screws also? I don't know what the diameter. I think the diameter is 22 millimeters. So as it is, if your diameter of your coupler is less than 22 millimeters and you redesign the top cover here to allow space for it, I don't see any reason why you couldn't do couplers. You would lose some Z travel. Pinned a little while ago, John. Hey, Queasy Diver. Hey, Muzen. What's left before release? Documentation is well underway. It has been for a while. And Atomic Vector Plotter has taken the lead on that, has been doing a fantastic job of getting screenshots and things going. There's a few little design finalizations. The umbilical, swing arm umbilical is there, and stuff like that. Putting some mods like Clicky Door into the base build. That's always a debate on what makes sense as a base build, because my goal with the Trident is make a very solid foundation, so not to overcomplicate it, so we continue to have an accessible build for people who may not be, this may be their first custom printer build or whatever. If we overcomplicate it, then we whittle away at that audience. AVP swing arm requires custom send cut send custom sheet metal parts, so it doesn't qualify for, because it's basically the Prusa, the Core 1 swing arm with a modified mount, so it doesn't qualify for the spec build. So we're working on a horizontal chain based swing arm. So the same serial series as the Trident. Yep. Who are the beta testers on R2? Telxoid was an original Trident beta tester and is back for R2. Making it Bob friendly. Yep. Rogue Zeta has had access to it, but I don't know that they've had some feedback into the design, which has been very valuable, but I don't know that they've been able to build one yet. And then we have a lot of the crew that have built them. Atomic Vector Plotter built one. I have his printer here actually, because I took it with us to Colorado. So, yeah, the only other little thing I forgot to mention that's different for, and I have an actual example here, that's different for the index implementation is the index tool head the nozzle is quite a bit higher than the than Stealth Burner. So I had to add 10 millimeters to this part. This is way thicker than the spec one. The spec one is basically the same thickness as right here. So I had to add all of this to get the bed into the right position. Loaded question, do you get Grant to test it? Grant saw it for the first time last weekend. I'm very much looking forward to his video coming out on that, because we had a good time showing him the stuff and showing him the belt routing and stuff. So keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye out. 3D Musketeers channel will have his interview with me. Ones that are out there is Projects in Dad's Garage did an interview that I think turned out pretty well. And Canuck Creator Taylor did an interview that I had a good time with. Pivot point changing for Z mounts will be in the config files. Yeah. We get extra Z motion on R2. Z is so dependent on the thickness of your bed. Z is dependent on the thickness of your bed, thickness of the spacers, where the nozzle is. It is maximized, but figure 240 plus is pretty safe, is what you'll get on Trident. And if those components are on the thinner side, then you'll be much closer to that 250. That is one thing to know. Because the stepper mounts on the back move back 3 millimeters, we are requiring 3 millimeter tape on the back, which does standardize. You don't need 1 millimeter foam tape. It's a good idea to have some, because some areas like the deck panel, you can put it in spots to keep things from rattling, but 3 millimeter foam tape is standardized on all panels. In order to get those wire paths, Thunderkey's fault. Well, thank Thunderkeys for pushing for wire paths. The front steppers are moved back 4 millimeters, but the deck panel doesn't have to change. The old deck panel will work just fine. And thanks to dev crew feedback on iterations to get that to work. The cover on the back Z-stepper is enough to cover the old deck, but the new files will have a revised EXF because it has a couple of notches that aren't necessary anymore. But the old deck will work just fine. What's the official warranty stance on glass-filled ABS for parts? It's fine. None of the parts are actually designed for shrinkage in mind. They're designed, the build in general, the printer in general, all the areas that are critical for that are adjustable. So you're bolting things to extrusions and you have a slot. So if your BA joints shrink a little bit, it just bolts to a very slightly different spot on that extrusion. In terms of bearing fit and stuff, it's basically calibrated to where you don't need to do shrinkage calibration on your prints. You want to adjust your flow rate to make sure that things fit. But Taylor mentioned something about modifying the back panel for the new swing arm. Will the back panel need to be modified at all? Yes, so that is true. So once we finalize the back panel, the expectation will be is a square notch probably out of the corner here because PTFE will exit there. There will be blanking plates for here or alternate PTFE inlets on the center if you don't want to use a swing arm. That's a good point. Oops. That I didn't mention earlier is because of the revised belt path here, it opens up this whole little notch here. No more front notch wire path. It's all back in the corner here, which gives tons of room for, like, if you had an internal spool and you want to run your PTFE up through here along with your wires, all the room for activities. Hey, Daddy Wazzy. So What do we got? We're only an hour. Oh boy. This might be a relatively short stream today. Let me put this away. Oh. Stream length will be determined by how many questions we get. How much discussion we get. What's the plan moving forward regarding the back filter fan that people don't seem to use? That's why nobody uses it. So I'm just closing it up. Just closing it up. Better air filtration, will that remain? In mod territory right now. So the scope on this, the whole scope on this is motion system. But the expectation is we needed to get something out that is significant, a benefit, but the expectation is to do more frequent iterative updates. So the next update may have nothing to do with the motion system. It may be changing the way the electronics are mounted. It may be changing the panels. It may be adding a filter system. I don't know. I'm making things up, but yes, I did. I did, Maurice. I have the files for the spreadsheet I showed folks of upcoming projects here. I have the files for the 3D sets, big van, but that's a big build. It's pretty low on the priority list. I can see a printed circlip for the double shear bearing. How is it designed to be removed for those without circlip pliers? This little printed circlip, there is no need to have any real, all that has to do is hold that bearing in place. And we do need a torque. That's why it's on the list. But these should be pretty easily pulled with just tweezers. Of course, I grabbed the worst tweezers I have, but nope, there it goes. And it flies away just like any circlip. But just tweezers or a small screwdriver or whatever, it will work just fine. Print extras and tear it out of there. It doesn't really matter. It's a very short print. Very simple. It doesn't stick up. That was kind of the thing there. Anything more complicated is going to stick up. So yeah, just some tweezers or whatever you can get to fit some. How do you resolve unknown pin chin name probe? I have no idea. CPAP, when you don't run it at 100%, is not that loud. Can the accent piece be removed? Yeah, so something that we're going to need to mention in the documentation is fit on these bearings to stepper shafts is variable. You're going to want to pick the ones that slide on easy but don't have any play. This, I don't have long shaft steppers in here, but that's the thing removed. Got a little cutout here for the button head. It's the same piece on either side. But yeah, that just goes in there. Do you expect LG to produce a kit for the Cascade? That's TBD. I would expect that they're going to look into it and they will make their own decision on whether it's a beneficial thing to do. Okay, cold coffee gone. Feel free to continue with questions on Trident on the show. But I'm going to start opening up this Vertigo box. So see what we have. Freak out Oscar. I have a bunch of 2020 extrusion, a V0 bed, 3 250 lead screws, essentially all the parts to build a salad fork, but the bed. I'm debating what custom build to do. I don't know. Will 9mm belts be supported? No. Well, Lazy Susan should be standard bomb. You know if the new index tools say if they are CHT or not, or is it just for nozzle size? They just show the, here, I can pull a tool off of here. There's a index tool, and let me see here. It says Bondtech on the side, and they sent me 0.5s because Prusa gobbled up all the 0.4s. But they do not say, but these are CHT. I don't know how you're going to distinguish, because on my Founders Edition order, I did order some non-CHT nozzles, so we'll find out what they look like. This is a interesting point here. If we look at this, this is a tool. This goes right up against that 1515 extrusion in front. So you can tell how much available space, you should be able to tell how much available space there is, print area, by measuring the thickness of this, which I know is 25 millimeters. 25 millimeters. So that would be minus your available Y travel, which on the printer is 266 millimeters on a 250 build is total available Y travel. That's plus or minus a little bit, depending on how tolerances stack up. But that's 26 millimeters minus 266 is 240, which is where we get the 10 millimeters of lost Y travel on this printer. Okay. Hey, Killer Prince. I ordered at least a 0.25 and a 0.8. Oh, that's a double box. About the turntable, I wish the manufacturer of the aluminum mechanics had a complete blueprint. Yeah. Did I publish one somewhere? Okay, let's see what we have here. It's okay, Oscar. He's so skittish. So big thanks, huge thanks. This is a good reminder. Big thanks to West 3D, because West 3D is providing this kit. West 3D is the sponsor for this project, the Kickstarter. This having two boxes is kind of a problem. I'm gonna freak you out, Oscar, but I'm gonna pull this off and get rid of this second box. This. See if Oscar ever comes back or if he's too traumatized. Hey, James. That'd be an orange cat thing. Ryan is very skittish as well. Charlie was not skittish. Charlie was not skittish at all. But there's this. What is this? This is a full kit. It should be everything I need to complete this build. Something we'll look at as well today is documentation, what its state is. Oh, LEDs from Daylights. From Chamois. Easy probe in there does not need 19 extra volts. That's a mistake. I'm only supposed to make once. So yes, this does use a Revo PZ as the probe solution. It is pre, so this is a little different. The wires, and it does, so you've seen me do the same thing. I turn the wires back on itself to minimize the amount of skew on that. So I noticed this when I was looking at the documentation. They do the same thing. They just pre-did it and put it in the little insulator, and then the connectors are correct for this build. So yeah, we've got our heat sink. Is it purple? Is the question. Is it purple? I'm guessing it is. It looks purple. Yep. And then what nozzle does it come with? Our 5-volt PCB, and we got a 0.4 high flow. It looks like obsidian. So okay, let's get all that back in there. So Revo PZ as the probe solution. Some bomb list. Keep that. Okay, orbiter extruder. So here's a big thing that I needed to get out of here is all the fasteners. Here, Remy. So I'm going to organize all the fasteners into some bins for the build between now and next Sunday. Oh, those are different. Little kind of, I don't know where those are used, but they are a little different. You can see. Along with those, so pulleys, belts, oh, some GE5C bearings, that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna separate all this stuff out. I'm gonna grab one of my 16 or whatever bin Acro Mills things and organize all the fasteners into there. Snacks, motor kit. What do we have for motors? Ooh, the Z motors are geared. Oh, I can turn it, but it's hard. Geared Z steppers. And what are these? Super power 1.8 degree, 2.8 amp steppers for the motion system, it looks like. Okay. Power supply. This is 350 watt power supply. Oh. So I don't know if I mentioned this before, but at Smurf, I took my my battery charger, and I've had it apart, that's why it's not there, but didn't realize it had a voltage switch, and I plugged it in. And although we can plug in a 230 volt device here without catastrophic results, it does not work the other way around, and this is dead. So I got a new one. I picked up this thing. It's a lot more compact and works good. Anyway, while we're here, let's just flip that over. 350 watt Meanwhile, some miscellaneous stuff. Oh, what board are we using? These. Everything would be auto switching. I know. Can probably, I've opened it up. I cannot see what component failed. I've looked it over. There's no exterior evidence of what component failed. So this is Manta M8P, it looks like, as our main board. Oh, is there a duck? No duck. I got plenty of ducks. That reminds me, I need to clean some potentiometers. What do we got here? Compute module 4. So there is something here. There's something about whether I have the correct module, because there were some that went out that don't have Wi-Fi or... Hey, Max. I'll have to look up what the things are. There was something, I think Dan warned me that they may need to replace the module. Does anybody, looking at this, does anybody know what particular capabilities this one has? I'll look it up, but... But that's a compute module. This has no Wi-Fi. Yeah, that would be what goes right there, huh? Oh yeah. No Wi-Fi, and that sounds right to what Dan was saying. So it sounds like they'll end up sending me a new module. It can run too. Some fans and heatsink and stuff. Okay, so I will reach out and confirm that I did get one that doesn't have the things that I need. What is that? Just a rod of some sort? What is this? Oh, there we go. What is this in here? So small, it's kind of hard to see where the tape is. Let's see. Wow. Oh, there we go. Okay, so looks like some diameter rod. Is that all that was in here? Yes, just very, very packaged for a metal rod. Hey, Jeff. What diameter is this? 6 millimeters? This looks bigger than 5. Is this quarter inch? Nope, 6 millimeters. Okay, that can stay there. Clicky clack door kit. Not gonna open that up. Linear rails. How did this go together? I think this here. That can go there. That can go there, there, there. Okay. They showed off Vertigo at Rocky Mountain last year. I saw it the first time that I recall at Orange County Maker Fair. Jason had one. And Jason asked if I wanted to build one. And I said, of course. We'll go over some of the documentation and things that make, and I'll kind of highlight what makes it most appealing to me. Because there's a lot of stuff they're doing on here. So it'll be fun to get the experience. How reliable is Vertigo? I have no idea. Non-Wi-Fi? Yeah, they said some of them, at least some of them, got packaged without Wi-Fi. Okay, let's do the same thing. Pull this box out of here. This might be upside down, but it's open on this side. Okay. If we'll handle ABS or not. I imagine it should. It does have a big open bottom, so that is a good question. Oh, a whole other bag of fasteners. Holy moly, that's a lot of fasteners. Heat sets. That's a hefty thing of fasteners. How heavy is that? This might not be super, but we'll see. Come on. Oh. 2.3 kilograms of fasteners. More reliable than me remembering to take the last print off before starting a new one. That is a lot of fasteners. Let's set that off to the side because I need to organize those. Oh yeah, electronics and cables. Okay, so we have wiring. We have, a fuse. Each fastener would be unique too. Take a look. I saw that this was posted on the Vertigo Discord. This little unboxing here. So we are just unboxing. We're not going to actually start building today. It's mostly to show what's in here, and so I can know exactly what I will be prepping for. Some little pre-wired LEDs, little sequin style, and cob strip. So I can be prepared for next week. And I wanted to unbox this live, so see what was in here. So I haven't opened any of this before. So lots of little pigtails and wires. Everything looks to be pre-crimped. I'll show you the printed parts here in a little bit too, once we get through the boxes. We'll move on to the printed parts and look at the instructions. Oh, the build plate. See if there's anything special about the build plate. Nice packaging that LDO does for these. Little branded sheet. Limited layers. Yeah, just a 250 full coverage heater. Just general nice LDO plate. It's like a thermal fuse. So part of this build is I will be pre-doing heat sets. So that'll speed up, or it won't take that extra time. Okay, electronics. So we have, oh yeah, the tool head on this. The tool head on this uses pogo pins. So that's a little custom PCB and pogo pin setup. Cool. It's like a couple of 5160s. How many are there in here? We've got 2. Oh, we got a lot of optical end stops. Oh, there we go. I was wondering what was going on there. So we have 2209s, 4 2209s, and 2 5160s. It looks like for the BA steppers and then the Z steppers. SD card. Oh, 2 SD cards. Why do I got 2 SD cards? I got a 32 gig and a 64 gig SD card. Why would there be 2? Bed SSR and mount. Oh, and a couple of screws for the SSR mount. That's for mounting the SSR to the mount. It is not. It looks like, so it. I did notice that it has superpower steppers, which those are the ones that work better at 40 or 24 volts anyway. So it is not running. I do not see a 48 volt power supply anywhere. What is this? Oh, the display, I think. Interesting combination of parts. We got Big Tree Tech controllers, and then it looks like a Mellow tool head board. Not a display, it's a tool head board. Well, okay, that's just panels. I'm not going to pull that out. And the other electronics box. Don't you have superpower on your Phoenix? Are they superpowers? They are. They are superpowers. And do I have it? I think I'm running them on 24 volts on Phoenix. Nope. I'm running them on 48. That's because I stole the 24 volt power supply for the Stealth Changer. I may need to buy a 24 volt supply now that you mentioned that. Oh, I was just opening this. Yeah, I'll pick up a 24 volt supply. Some PTFE, some fans, and oh, a bunch of little lever lock. Oh, I remember seeing these in the instructions. And more of them. Capricorn style PTFE. The camera cooling fan, I believe. Yes, it has a camera cooling fan. Some more fans. It has a camera cooling fan. There you go. Litter low. Is Jeff still here? My order of litter will be here in a couple of days. I have a subscription. I have a subscription to litter. Okay. Would there be a reason to use 5160 at 24 volts? I'm not sure, Neil. I'm not sure. Okay. Put this stuff back. Whatever, those are the same. Okay. Where did I put the other one? Oh, right here. Let's see. Let's get printed parts out here. I am organized. So this is all the tools. This is all the tool and jig and alignment pieces. And this is panels and clips. I need to still de-stress them. Why you don't like the Quad XY for Voron? I never said I didn't like it. These go in a box because I just printed these the other day. Top panel logo stuff. Printed parts, printed parts. There's more. Printed parts. Printed parts. Parts. Everybody's got to have their thing, right? Printed parts and printed parts. Here, let's get a little other view here. Printed parts. Just a few. So, holy moly. It is a lot of them. I don't remember where these go, but I'll categorize these into the right box. We start here. These are the feet. So this is all Larch Gold. So this is the LDO ABS that was given away at Vice Portland. Nice mouse pad. Yeah, I got that at Smurf. So this is Larch Gold. It has a little bit of a flex in it, some sparkle and some dark. So it's kind of neat. It's the same yellow that Morden's Trident R1 that was at Rocky Mountain is done in. I have plenty. Thank you, Bob. I do have plenty. I came home with a case of the stuff and we gave the rest of it away aside from a couple of spools at Rocky Mountain. So all of these were printed on the Core 1L, and that's because they highly recommended doing an actual shrinkage compensation, which I did, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to spend the time because I was printing in plenty of time. I didn't spend the time to calibrate more than just that printer. So these are all done on the Core 1L. I was able to do, it ranged from a few hours for plate to 17 hours, I think was the longest plate. And that was in these feet. So these feet, see, this is part of the Tetris here too, getting these to fit in here. But that is a chunk of plastic. I'm gonna de-stress this. The heat gun. Much better. But yeah, so Larch Gold, and this is Polymaker Galaxy Black ASA. And then there's pieces in here as well. Because I had to stuff things everywhere I could to be efficient on the spacing. Yeah, so this is all basically feet. This is step, I think this is STL folder 0. Or if we go to, let's see, apparently Oscar hit F1 on the keyboard. You go to Vertigo MK3. Let's just go to West 3D's page for it. It is a lot of plastic. I think they have a GitHub link in here. Oh, here's that front, see the pogo pins? That holds on with magnets and pogo pins. It's kind of neat. Automated layers, GitHub. So if we go in here to hardware and STLs, see, notice there are step files. Oops, I haven't actually gone in here, but tool plate. Oh, so it's just for that, not for the whole thing. So never mind. So tools folder, frame folder. It was one of these. Feet was 2 all the way through. Hey, John. It's a treat hotkey. Is there anything else interesting in here? Let's see how this fits. So we've got a top thing. This has a clear diffuser that goes in it. See how that fits. I just printed that clear diffuser last night. It fit in there perfect. That is printed in 3D Fuel PCTG, which I picked up at 3D Printopia to try. It needs to print a bit hotter than the spool says. I printed that at 280, I think, and it said 250 to 270 on the spool. But when I printed one at 260, it obviously was not strong layer adhesion. So anyway, that goes there, and then I think this other piece might go in front. Oh yeah, there we go. That gives you an idea of what that's going to look like. New version of the Protopos is Texas T black with gold glitter. Interesting. Toolhead is giving SV08 vibes. Yeah. So all of this stuff. Yeah, lots of printed parts. So the plan is before each stream over the weeks, I will process these for getting rid of the stress marks and putting heat sets in. I imagine this must go in here since those go together. I'll just leave them right there. Well, even their website, I double checked their website, Jeff, and it still said that same thing. Just lots of, some of these aren't full, but it's because they're separated out by depth. So this is a fan that goes on to cool the drivers on the controller. That's a shroud for it. And then you have things like a little connector blocks. This is too big of a piece, I guess, so ends up being a dovetail joint. These guys were not there that I'm aware of, but Jason had one of these there. Anyway, logo piece. Lots of little DIN clips. Oh, those use hex nuts instead of a heat set, so. What gantry does it use? Similar to V2? Yeah, I think it's similar. This is derived. This is a Voron derived project, but it has evolved very much into their own thing. Here's all the tool head stuff. So, get an idea on tool head. I think that'll turn out really good. You were asking, someone was asking about amount of printing. So this was, I think, right at 5 kilograms of black and a solid kilogram of yellow. Wago mount. Wagos go in there. And it was about, I need to add it up, but it was about 200 hours worth of printing on the Core 1L. These are multiple steps in one box, so I'm running out of boxes. Yeah. Let's look at the documentation, because this is another interesting thing about this project that I was a little leery of, the way they do documentation. So let's check it out. Get things organized here. A mess still. I'm better off. I'd spent a lot of time yesterday cleaning, so I'm better off than I was during stream yesterday, but okay. So we have all the STLs. Let's see. And let's a reminder, we are giving away a roll of filament in an hour. So get yourself entered. Description and pin post or the link. So, oh, there's a few things that I still need to print. Just a small collection of parts that are intended or put optionally multi-material, so, or multicolor. So I'm planning on printing those on the Stealth Changer or the Index machine, or both. Let's see, what is in the DXF? All the panels. Cool. I would have expected, I thought. So what do we have? Tool plate. No pockets, okay. Let's see. Electrical docks. So Vertigo Mark 1, some of the information about it. Bed that rotates to a vertical position and scrapes printed parts off and out the bottom. Print queues, batch jobs, and remote failure recovery. So I was thinking the use case for me is I can print a bunch of these acro mill bins. I can print some Gridfinity stuff. I'd like to see how it does queuing up like a whole printer worth of parts. Schlonky, thanks for being a member. Okay, so if we go to, go to the docs. So this is a little, I always have to, I've figured out where it is, but it's not immediately obvious because usually folks will put a docs link on this main page. But if you go to docs, then scroll down, there is a Mark 1 docs link. So here we go. And let's, I think I put this in the description. Print a bunch of LH Stinger stuff. Hilarious. Let's see here. Okay. these are the docs. So when first thing, this is a product, right? So the way I treat products is I expect documentation to be on point or as close as they can to get it. I don't mind giving feedback on where I think things can be improved, but I feel like as a product, it should be a package that your customers can get and run with. So they have been working on this documentation. The expectation is that it'll be there when I get to whatever step it is. When we were talking about, I was talking with one of the developers or one of the project folks early on. I asked them what kind of documentation. They said videos, a lot of videos along with this wiki. And I'm like, ugh, I hate video documentation. But I said, okay, well, how are you planning on doing it? These are my concerns. I absolutely hate going through video documentation that has voiceovers and such like that. So they assured me that they wouldn't have voiceovers, might have some music, which is fine. But we'll go through it and I'll show you what they ended up doing. So we go to assembly guide and just starting at the frame. So we have this page documentation talking about materials, some notes on meanings, and some printed steps or text steps down here. If we go into the videos, they actually did a pretty good job with these. There is no voiceovers. It is well labeled and animated and seems to be well paced. So we can go through here and see this. Okay, so now I can pause. I know what extrusions I need to get together, grab those. Gives plenty of opportunity that it doesn't seem like I'm going to be trying to hit pause at an exact time, is what I mean by pace. Isn't this whole YouTube channel video documentation? No, it's hang out and build. Hang out and build. I've never pretended to be a step-by-step documentation channel. But as you can see here, this isn't bad. I gotta admit. They have, and further along in the instructions, so if we go to, say, the tool head and go down here, let's go, I guess, extruder plate. And if we go here and we start looking at just kind of the animations are good. The labeling, the contrast. I mean, this, I can sit here and pause. Okay, now I can grab all these bits and pieces and then go again. All you see the animations of the wires where they go. Isn't that pretty decent for video documentation? As they've been building these, I've been feeling more and more comfortable with the thing. Although I did notice this, I'm not sure why they cut that flush, because you end up using a short piece for another part. They did, I think they talk about somewhere about chamfering that. Hey, BBs. Will it still be possible to use MGN12 on Y? Are you talking about for Trident R2 Chaos? If so, that's very, very in the modification. Here's something. So let me pause this. Here's something I have not mentioned anywhere for Trident R2. For the modified parts, and with no promises for the future, the native CAD for stuff will be released for the stuff I've done. That means that instead of most all previous releases being based on either Eddie's or Max's RCF's solid step files and modifications from those, I took the time to recreate the parts from sketches for the full gantry, for the Z. Well, the Z setup was mine to begin with, but for all the gantry parts, it is all redesigned from sketches, and that native Fusion CAD will be released. So you talk about, will it still be possible to use MGN12 on Y? You'll have the best possible foundation to do your own modification on that. So that was brought about by me running into some Fusion quirks on the BA drives that were wasting a lot of time. So I started from scratch on those and decided to continue that with the rest of it, is just redraw stuff from scratch. So the CAD is not promised to be the cleanest and the best way to do things. I'm keeping myself from redoing some of it because it'll be good enough. It'll be better than anything you've gotten in the past. So it will be, I think it'll be appreciated, and I'm glad to have done it. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to go through some of this. You know, this means I have to redo next V2 in parametric mode. At least turn on history. That is the first time I've mentioned that the native CAD will be available. It's been planned, but I keep forgetting to mention it in the various coverage. Anyway, this is a good example of the documentation here, which I'm expecting to be okay. I was leery of video documentation, but with this, with the text accompanying it, not all of them have text, but the videos are pretty good. And if we go to, let's go here. Let's go to their automated layers. Why am I not subscribed? I don't know why I'm not subscribed. There I am. That cutter is why the tube is short. Oh, that's a very good point, Jeff. That is such a good point. I've only skimmed through this stuff, so I appreciate that. Anyway, let's look at how they're doing. They have updated as of camera top module wiring 13 days ago. I think they're working on now the, let's go wiring. What's here in wiring? So we've got bed wiring. See, they're not there yet. If we have to, there's plenty of projects we can divert to, but I would expect them to be ready for me when I get there. It's okay if we have to divert. I'm not gonna be the source of any pressure on something. But firmware, there is some firmware stuff. That's good. This looks fairly, I mean, just skimming it, it looks pretty filled out. That's good. Configuration. This is the config file. Familiar with Calico configuration reference. So apparently we're running Calico. My index Trident is running Calico because there's some functions there that work better in Calico with the load cell. I don't know if any of the automated layers folks are in here. I know that you posted in the thing, but I'll be keeping an eye out on the stuff like calibration here. Needs some information. And what do we have in Slicer? Yeah. So it's in progress. I know they've made steady progress on it. So it's going to be 2 months until I'm at a point where they've stopped. So I've been working hard on Calico. Which one do you suggest for a second build? A V1 or a V0? A V1 is in a Trident? Well, I'm always going to suggest a Trident, but a V0 is a fantastic printer. See you, Kobe. Okay. What else do we have? This might be a really short stream. We might do an early giveaway. Anything else you guys want to chat about? About Rocky Mountain, about Trident R1, about Index, about the Vertigo. The length that we go today will depend on the interaction in chat. We're not quite at 50% likes. Any rumors on if when Stealth Changer will support Calico? That's all going to be centered around Clipper Tool Changer, huh? I don't know if it supports it now or not. Does it not support it? Make it multiple spools. So I am planning on doing an Index stream on Wednesday. The intent of that is to recalibrate the XY offsets using my new latest revision Ember Prototypes camera. So going through that and probably starting a print because the offsets were off at the show. Isn't directly supporting it. Okay. How did the Ford handle the trip there with the trailer? It was fantastic. I got, and depending on which direction the wind was blowing, I got anywhere between 11 and 25 miles per gallon. I think I averaged somewhere around 18 miles per gallon for the trip. Exactly 50%. KTC Easy does support it with Cardo or Beacon, not tap. Got it. Do I build a 300 or 350 Trident for Index? That's my current dilemma. Well, how many tools do you want? And how big a prints do you really need? Because a 350 is going to take more energy, be slightly more difficult to tune, take more space. Figure that you can fit about 9 tools on a 350. You can cram in about 7 tools on a 250. So you can comfortably go 8 tools on a 300 or 9 tools on a 350. Anyway, back to the Ford. It pulls that U-Haul trailer very well. We hit some pretty good winds that blew us around a bit, but not too bad. It did eat $600 of gas. We hit a headwind on the way back outside of Reno that was so strong that it caused, on flat ground, caused the truck to downshift. Sean, thanks for being a member. The wind was just Bill. There's a lot of hot air there, but it wasn't affecting the truck. What else do we have? I could start on the heat sets, but we'll see how it goes. Not sure if you said so or not, but we would be at 3D Printopia. I will. I'm planning on attending 3D Printopia. Oh, it was nice and chilly outside. It was comfortable in the truck. I have 0 2.85 printers planned. I have 0 meters or grams of 2.85 filament. Timing R2 with Index Dev launch. There is definitely a influence with Index and the way that Trident R2, the capabilities that have been built in. But there is no link in terms of when they actually get released. We'll get Trident R2 out soon. Actual soon, as soon as we can. You're off YouTube for weeks. You must have some new expensive tools to show us. No, I spent time on this and on the Phoenix, because part of what I did is rebuild the gantry on Phoenix and the umbilical setup, which meant a lot of rewiring and printing all these parts here in front of me. All these parts were printed during that time. Not Voron soon. See? If you were at the event and managed to get a actual soon, not Voron soon, with the whole motion system there on a sticker. Isn't that cool? Dr. Mercy made these for us. Experimenting with different nozzle sizes on tool changers. In my Founders Edition order, I finalized it with several extra nozzles, 0.25s and 0.8s, I think. Do you know if LDO will have complete kits for the Vertigo in the future? That's what this is. And go to West 3D as the exclusive supplier of that. But this is the Vertigo kit that we'll be building. Just picked up two Voron 2.4 R2 350s used in good condition for $1,200. Nice. Some sense in having a 2.8. Yeah. 2.85 tool for TPU. So there's been some chatter about that. Olaf has talked about the possibility of doing 2.85 filament through the existing index tool head. Picked up the clicky clack door for my Trident and the M5 heat set for the Trident R2 update. You get the button head cap screw M3x40. Awesome. Index takes proprietary nozzles. Oh, absolutely. Brad, thanks for the gift of memberships. What kind of soon is Phoenix at? Voron soon. Phoenix is definitely very solidly Voron soon. Sorry, Max. Can we talk about that cool turnstile magazine changer mechanism? Oh yeah, we talked about that earlier. Where is that? This. This guy. Yeah. Oh, I did a video. I didn't realize that was a video. We were just looking at the still. Good. We went back to it and I realized it's a video. Yeah, this is so clever. He's using a little servo to engage the tools. Antithesis, yep. Anyway. Intended to go on that printer. Very clever. Very clever. Probably on the list of coolest things I saw there. Just that's the kind of thing that I really like, is those clever, interesting solutions. Oh, to Germany, not possible to order, I see. On the Vertigo thing. So the BOM is published. All the DXFs, all the things are published that you would need to build your own. So it is possible to self-source that. I understand what you were talking about. Totally didn't understand what I was seeing before. Someone could adapt it to a V0. That's a lot of, I think that's wider than a V0 is. I think that in the V0, the tool head moves. So if this is what you're talking about adapting, I think it's Garrett. Yeah, it was sad not to see you, but thank you for the Pueblo red you gave to the table, to the group. If a Nemil was a 3D printer. This thing survived. So this is the gyro, the dodo that I printed on the beta, the earlier version of Index. This survived the Bondtech table all weekend without completely coming apart. It's starting to. I gave the other one to Bondtech, let them take it home, and I brought this one home. I'll probably soak this one and free it up at some point, because this is just, it's an interesting little piece, but I'd rather have it as the dissolved version. You know, a toolhead that moves an XY with that. No, you don't. You really, the antithesis is really the perfect application for that. Ahmed, thanks for the gifted memberships. Well, Jim, that's perfect as a different style of printer. I mean, it fits right into what I like. It's different and it's small. It's different and it's small. Compact. Yeah, I convert my Milo to something like that. That's so true, John. That's so true. Here, let's go back to the Vertigo documentation. Is that where we were? Oh, here. Let's go to assembly guide. So I don't think we need here. No threaded inserts in the assembly guide or frame. Let's go to feet. So front foot. Is there any heat sets? Vertigo stealth changer. I know. That 6 year, the Medusa similar hot end rotating. Yeah, I've seen stuff like that. I don't see heat set in that. What about rear foot? I still need to print these little inserts, I think it is, that goes in there. No heat sets there. Okay. Got rails go in. Attach the front Z rails to the frame. I don't really want to start actual build. I want that to be contained in its own series. This is kind of pre-build stream here. I want the full thing to be dedicated streams. I don't want someone to have to skip 2.5 hours in on the first video. Z joints. Front Z joints. Oh, there we are. Oh, two different brass inserts. So this gets into the table in a hotel room for 3D Printopia this year. Awesome. I have not booked anything for 3D Printopia. But is anybody going to happen to be at JERF in Tokyo? Because I will be there in just a few weeks. My stream is listed as YouTube featured for you today. Awesome. So there's some brass inserts starting at the front Z joints. Then bed lever. So this is the thing that indexes the bed when it's and moves out of the way, I think, for when it moves. There are no inserts here. Not a whole lot of inserts to do, it looks like. Oh, there's some. couple of brass inserts in the rear Z joints. Let's go here. Let's see what this video looks like. All the travel you do, does April ever go with? She's going with to Japan. We tend to go to the new locations together first when we can. China wasn't possible, but interesting. Did I? So let's see. I want to see that part because I didn't necessarily have access to these. They weren't out. Or what is this one? This is 3. This should be. Yeah. I happened to grab exactly the bag I needed. I noticed they did a 2-color thing on there. May see the draw, may not. Some really interesting machines showing up in the build up to it. Okay, so these are these here. Let's go here. Oh, that wouldn't have been super great to do. So I'm not too worried about that. Oh yeah, okay. I'm not too worried about it. These go together like that. Looks like heat sets in there. Tokyo, yep. Lots of neat parts. How much additional time are you spending in Japan? A bit. We're very much trying not to feel like we need to do everything for that trip. Okay, so that's there, and then we get into the gantry. So I think on next Sunday we'll be able to get through feet, rails, Z joints for sure. I think lots of buffering issues. Let me see what OBS is saying as far as, or no, stream health. But at least one ride on a bullet train. I was on a bullet train in China. Go climb Fuji. Let me see here. Let me see. Stream health. Yeah, there's no reports on my side. So who knows though. To any RepRap firmware, sure appreciate those who travel to them and shoot videos and share them. Let's see. So XY idlers, no heat sets. Looks like I don't have a whole lot of load. I'll mostly be stress marking them. Gantry bar. Oh, there's some. 2. Yeah, but not a lot of heat sets. Not a lot of heat sets. There's 3 in there. So XY drives. otherwise known as BA drives. Oh, yeah, these are interactive. I forgot about that. Yep, there's the 3 heat sets. Are those listed up here? Yep, 3 brass inserts. That must be each. So let's see here. Oh. Oh. And 5x60 button heads. There's our, comes with 120 heat sets, so it's probably a lot more further on in the build then. These are the 5.7. I think there was another size listed. Let's see if we have what we have here. Oh, acorn nuts. That's a new thing. Let's see what variety. I'm stalling. We need to get to the filament giveaway time. So this is still good information. And recent threats against the undersea cables. Oh, I hope not. So acorn nuts are kind of a new thing to a build. We've got M4s. So let's go M3, M4, M5, and then other things. We got M3x45. These coupling hex nuts. M3x40. M3x10. M5 hex nuts. Flathead M4s. Oops, M5 goes over there, M4 goes there. What color frame is it? Black. I'm certain it's black. I hope it's black. If it's not black, I printed all this stuff anticipating a black frame. Do you know any shop that sells good NEMA 17 with TR8 lead screws and 400mm lengths? Are you thinking for, what are you thinking for there, Nix? This is all the black nickel hardware, yep. Small hail a couple hours ago. Nix, what are you thinking for? Are you thinking that, I have a reason I'm asking. Special part trays. I am planning on printing a parts tray, John. I'm planning on printing a parts tray, and then because of the variety of hardware and stuff, I'm going to grab one of my Acro Mills drawer sets and organize all the fasteners in there. Pick any color frame, what would you choose? I'm liking black lately because it doesn't fade and you're very likely to have extrusions that are very close to the same shade and sheen than any of the colors. I love the colored frames, but the reality around any of these color anodized frames is there is a manufacturing discrepancies and fade over time. I mean, even the stealth gray or whatever frames have a noticeable difference in shade and sheen batch to batch. So the reason I asked specifically, Nix, on the lead screw thing is if it's for like a Trident or whatever, as someone already said, you really want like a 4mm lead on those. So TR 8x4, 8x8 you can get some drop in your bed. Stepper Online is a good source for the odd sizes. I think the LDO 300 cubes use a 350mm lead screw. There is, you're right there, Nix. TR 8x8 is an error in the sourcing guide, which will be fixed. It really should say TR 8x4 as recommended. But that is something that has recently been brought up, actually. So, yeah, you want TR 8x4, then we will fix that. Okay, M3x8s, 3 by 18. That's an odd size. And 3 by 16. And 3 by 30. We have some M5 threaded rods. I saw that in the documentation we were just looking at. Oh, hey, ooh, depending on where these are. So at least we can confirm that LDO has nickel plated M5 by 40 button heads, because we need that. That's the other change in R2 is M5 by 40 button heads. If these are hidden in this build, I might swap them out for the M5 by 40s on my index here. M3 pins. M3 by 14. That's another odd length. I got M3 hex nuts. M4 by 6 flatheads. Those are shorties. M3 washers. Oh, what do we got here? Some thumb screws. And what are those? M3 thumb screws. Odd. Different. M5 pins. A 2.5 pin. The idea here is we're getting an idea of what the variety of hardware it comes with is. M2 by 20 pins. M3 flatheads. Some M2 flatheads. I guess we'll go over here, M2. Have M5 by 40s on order from LDO. Nice. Yeah, we'll get rid of the 8mm as a recommendation because it really shouldn't be. M3 lock nuts. M3 hammerhead T-nuts. 3 by 35. Here's the shorter, only a few of the shorter M3 inserts. 4.5mm versus 5.7. Imagine self-sourcing this. Yeah, look for TR8 by 4s next. 3 by 20. M2 by 8 socket head. These are flathead. M3 by 20 flathead. Oh. Large outer diameter M3 washers. Go along with the standard M3 washers. Ooh, M8 hex nut. M8. Got an M3 by 40 pins. M3 flatheads. Oh, little M1.5 by 10 pins. Whole thing of roll-in T-nuts. M4 hex nuts. Oh, shoulder screws. M5 by 25 shoulder screws. Do you have a Z30 to 31 cable in your kit? Is that in one of the electronics boxes? And are you one of the developers, Ronan? M2 hex nuts. I can look. Oh, stainless. So there must be a purpose for this being stainless. This is a complicated build. It does... I'm not going to poo-poo it having a wide variety of fasteners. We will see why as we build it. I don't know exactly why right now, but I'm not too worried about it at this point. There may be some instances as we're going along where we think, oh, this probably could have been optimized a bit, but this is a very different, very, it does a lot of things. No, I'm building one myself, but I want to make sure if I've just misplaced it or I'm missing. It's driving me up the wall. What box was it in, Ronan? I can look. Self-source builds and kit builds as far as config goes. No, there shouldn't be any difference there, Fun Jump. I mean, your config is going to be dependent on your specific components that you choose, but fundamentally there's no difference between a self-source build and a kit build as far as configuration. What do we got here? M4. Those look large outer OD washers for an M4. It's in the cable kit box. Let's find out. Electronics cable kit. Okay. See you, John. You're going to put this printer. I have no idea where I'm putting this printer. I have no idea. So what am I looking for? Z30 to 31. Z30 to 31. Oh, no, that's 35. Oh, Z30 to 31. So this is the bag it should be in. $32, $33. Let's see here. Z28. Z34. What is this? They labeled 3031. That is this one. 3031. Is this what you're looking for? This is 3031. It's got ferrules on one side and a male JST on the other. Does that help? Hey, John. Tour the garages on the Google Sheet. You're on there. Do a comment. Do a comment. One day the stars will align where I'm looking for something to do and both garages are clean enough to do it. Glad I could help there. Okay. What else do we have here? I have some, nylon washers. Nylon M4s. Dreamer, exactly. Placed it weeks ago. I thought it was a pigtail. Ah, I see. I'm glad, like I said, glad to help. Little wave spring washers. M3. It's a little odd, so let's put it over there. Small OD M5 washers. I didn't say I believe they would align. I said someday they will. I don't know when that day is. I'm doing great. M5 by 30s, M3 by 12s. I'm looking at this and realizing I need to print a bunch of like 4-bin inserts for my acromels in order to fit all of this. What are these? M5 by 16s, M5 by 35, M5 by 10, M5 roll-ins. What else do we have here? Oh, some other shoulder screws. These are M4s. And M5 by 20. So that is our fastener 3 by 10. So we've got some washers, hex hammerheads, and that, and then flatheads here. Flatheads. Stainless steel for some reason. I'm curious why. Might consider some embedded labels for those inserts. As long as they're in an order, it's better than having little bags of fasteners laying around. As long as they're in some sort of sequence, then it won't be too bad. It'd be more effort making labels than it's worth for the build, I think. So that kind of stuff, and then socket head, socket head, socket head, socket head, socket head, socket head. Yeah. So no button head M3s. Interesting. No button head M3s. 16, 18. Here, let's see. 30, 8, 10, 40, 12. Here, these are 14, 16, 18. 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. And then 25, 30, 35, 40, and 45. Anyone running Prusa cameras such as the ones in the Core 1? The latest firmware update allows for local HD video streaming. Yeah, I haven't updated all my stuff, but I have those on all the Core 1s. Been building this since like February. This thing is a hell of a time consuming. Super good and clear instructions. Yeah, I figured this is going to be a good, it's going to be a good solid 2 months. Probably, I would say 8 to 12 streams on this. Look at the Gen 2 hardware drawers. Might be better. Well, I already have the acro mills. Okay, so that is just M3 socket heads. We have the full spectrum in 2mm increments from 8 to 20, and then 25, 30, 35, 40, and 45. Like I said, I'm not poo-pooing it until we get into the build and if there are any suggestions. But it is, we said, a complex build. Sort of. We're looking at the hardware as it comes in the kit, because this is helping me in planning how I'm going to organize this stuff for next week, and that's kind of what the purpose of this stream was. Beyond that, we have a fasteners in motion box. Yeah, exactly, Stephen. That's that's what I'm looking at here. So we've got roll-in T-nuts. We've got M5 and M3s. I wonder why there's different. So those can go there. Hey, Nirq. Hey, one day, we need to get together. Look familiar? I just used it to unbox this. But we need to get together because this is Nirq's knife. He left it at Vice, Reno Vice, and Whopping handed it to me to hand over. We'll have to go to a brewery or something here soon. Just let me know when. Pathetic Puma, thanks for the memberships. Do you have any plans for a live about upgrading Trident R2? Yes. So not an upgrade, but we will do a full build. The plan for that is we are going to do a Trident R2 build, and that will be based on the Trident frame. That will be based on the Trident frame. Fun Jump, thanks for the gifted memberships. I have what? Oh, hope I have a really good electric screwdriver. I have one and don't use it. You're right. Hey, thanks for being a member. Trident will live again. Yep. Okay. Whole new box, but this doesn't seem to have, for the most part, just regular fasteners in it. So we do have things, the Maker Beam nuts and these funky, they look like little T-nuts. Those are interesting. Let's pull one of these out and look at it a little closer. Sanity, welcome. What have I missed? There was something I was going to mention you at some point in this stream, but I don't remember what it was. Natal, thanks for being a member. Please make the R2 build in brown and tan. Why brown and tan? I was actually going to, even though I'm using it here, I was going to use large golden brown. Hello, Jackie. Troy, thanks for being a member. I wanted to look at this is probably not going to work super well, but let's try that. This is an interesting little nut here. Not sure where those are used, but it looks like it could be in a 1515 thing. The UPS colors, yeah. That's an interesting shape on those. Those are very custom. I'm assuming they're custom. They could have come from somewhere, but hey, Benny. Are the R2 motor mount files anywhere accessible to us normies? Not yet. Not yet. Soon. Okay, so that guy goes there. We've got pulleys. So we have 9mm belt pulleys and 6mm belt pulleys. 9mm idlers. And 6mm idlers. And non-flanged bearings. And more pins. These are for the Z modules, I'm sure. No, I don't know what those are for because it uses a geared motor stepper for Z. So this isn't the normal. It's a D shaft of some sort for some reason. Wouldn't United Brakes guitars are proof of prior art for that patent? It'd be good to see you do a fresh R2 build from scratch and not recognize you in your original LDO bore. This is true. Oh, what do we have? Oh, this is the machine plate that is for the tool head. Yeah, that's a little bit of oil on it, but the whole tool head piece. We got 6 more minutes until we're giving away a roll of filament. Ooh. Brass bushing. I'm sure this is something to do with the bed motion system. Gotta figure that. Oh, and this is the pivot points for the bed. And forced to do my all drive Trident build. Just need to print, and then I go to see Steve showing off these changes. Sorry. Hey, Pat. Okay, that's an interesting bushing thing. I wonder what that's for. Oh, some couplings. Oh, this is interesting. 20mm OD couplings. So those that style in 8mm. So I guess the question is, do they make these in 8mm? These are 5mm both sides. So 8mm might be bigger. Yeah, those are 5 both sides. I was just thinking for Z lead screw, custom lead screw lengths. Do you go through a lot of Allen screwdrivers as far as wear? No, I don't. But most of my stuff, I mean, speaking of that, I've had this thing for like 20 years. This is a factory team associated driver. I mean, look at the wear on, I mean, the little titanium nitride coating or whatever they call it has worn off, but I do not go through a lot. That's been one of my tools for, like I said, like 20 years or at least. I got the springs, more springs, belts, two GE5C bearings, a plate, Masumi sheet metal plate. Interesting. I just printed a new spider, or whatever it's called, for those couplers and TPU to made up a 12mm to 8mm. Okay. And then, some die springs. Interesting. Very, very interesting. And a small drag chain. I am very much looking forward to this build. There is so much different about it that from our typical. I am very much looking forward to it. Put some of these more unique parts that I'm not going to sort into the bins. Hey, John. Giveaway in 2 minutes. Build plate cleanser. Yeah. Oh, this thing can go back in. So what I'll probably do over the next day or so is sort these into, you know what I really need? What I really need is a Vertigo printer so I can batch print all the inserts I need for the Acromills organizer so I can build the Vertigo printer. That's what I really need. Because we'll be using a bunch of these little inserts. If you haven't seen them, chicken and egg problem. That's a future Steve solution. I'll have the solution for that in a couple of months. Oh, you know what I haven't seen? I haven't seen, it might be in one of the boxes I missed, but I haven't seen the little razor blades. Does it come with them, or am I supposed to source those? I have some, so it's not a big deal. But did I miss them in one of the boxes? Oh, it's giveaway time. In the miscellaneous boxes? Okay. Hey, Ayers. Well, it uses the little orange plastic ones. Do I have them right here? I have them somewhere. I bought them for something or another. I don't know where I where I put them, but I know I have them. Ah, here we are. Plastic scrapers. It just uses these. So, I have plenty of them, but it sounds like they do come in the kit. So, no biggie. Okay, it is giveaway time. Last name Peterson, you're a Viking descendant. Do you know if you have Swedish in you? That is a good question. I have some family members that are big on the genealogy stuff, but I have not paid attention. I have always been told that there is, that we are from that region of the world, but I don't know for sure. Would take PA off, use metal ones. This is some of the complexities of this printer, from what I understand, is it will detect, there's printed parts and they're right here. These are the pieces that go mount somehow and have a sensor in here for if it's taking too much force to pop things off the plate, so it'll trigger an error. So there's lots of little things like that. Like I mentioned earlier, little details, like it has a camera cooling fan. It has a camera. I didn't see the camera anywhere, but it has a camera somewhere. Okay, filament giveaway time. Let me pull up that page. Forms. And my die. Builds die. And this is Polymaker filament giveaway number 214. So get your entries in. Let's see. I'm using all the tabs. Oh, I need to be here. Oh, this is jerf stuff. See? Esoterical is going to be a jerf. Boy in Space, Stefan, me, Sam. Creator list there. We were going over that yesterday. Wheel of Names. Joy Monkey. Get your entry in. If it's lucky. Number between 1 and 214. I'll just count by 10s or 20s at that point, Sean. Okay, what in the world? We got a little ad. Whatever, I can't turn it off. Will LDO have Trident R2 kits ready soon, or is it only the release of the design? We will release the design, and it is totally up to vendors like LDO and whoever to do what they wish with it. I have given a heads up to anybody, any of the vendors, on a general idea of what the changes are, but we haven't done an actual full count of fastener changes. The primary things are the M5 heat sets and the M5x40 button heads are the only real new things. Everything else is a quantity change. Okay, let's see. I am only going to restart the count this number of times. Okay, maximum of 3 times. We'll restart the count to maximum of 3 times. So let me get this going. 3. Get your entry in. 3mm. Well, yeah, but that's quantity stuff. That's what I figure. 2. Links in the pin post in the description. Extrusions and panels the same. The back panel could change depending on how you want to build it. But the deck panel doesn't change. And the back panels should be easily modifiable. 1, I haven't had any new entries. So everybody has entered that wants filament, because I don't have to restart the count. To go up there, they may need more of it. There we go. First restart, 3. Second restart, 3. 2. Only one restart left. 1. No major expense change. Yeah, I've seen numbers from $30 to $50 in changes, but that's because you have to buy a whole pack. So you have to buy a $10 pack of M5 heat sets. You need to buy a $10 pack of M5x40 button heads. You need to buy a $10 pack of extra F695 bearings. So there's 30 bucks, but you're going to have enough for a couple of, just because the bearings is a limiting factor, but you'll have enough for 50 or whatever upgrades. Last restart. We've hit the 3. 3, 2, 1, and done. Build with friends, split the parts. Yep. I'm locked out of the Google this morning. No draw for you. Why not? Okay, link it out. Create. Tuxedo, you were the first one. Who got in last? Steve. Did you miss it? Did you miss it, Zero? You missed it. You played the game and you lost, huh? Played chicken and you lost. You got denied. Okay, I won't laugh anymore. Zura, welcome. Okay, what are we gonna do? Shoot. Let's do a number between 1 and 23. That is completely random. I have no idea. It's a number that came out that was a reasonable number. Can you get a list of the required parts for R2 before it's released? Just that list you talked about. 1 and 23. We will have stuff out there. Let's see. Fun jumps at 15. Let's do 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, let's gotta click here. Your name is rolled. Say something in chat. Who do we got? Scope UK. Scope UK, are you here? You have 2 minutes to say something as soon as I get the timer going. Scope UK, congratulations. Oh, shoot. Sorry, guys. I forgot. Sorry. Wrong cam. Scope UK. Are you here? I know. I screwed up. I'll give you a few extra seconds, Scope. I didn't have the wheel up. Come on. It's been a month. I'm rusty. You saw the secret of the timer? Yeah. Shuffle 214 times. That's all there is to it. You hear, Scope? Scope UK. Or is it 5 Cope UK? You're here. Awesome. Congrats. Stop the timer. Congratulations. Let's see here. There we go. Let's bring up the email. Exactly, Tuxedo. Hey, someone ordered some Vision Miner. Thank you. A reminder, there are affiliate links in the description. It does help. I just got the email, that's why. It says that someone ordered. One of you ordered. Let me see. Here we go. Let's paste your name in here. And stomach is growling too. Okay, all that is correct. I'm double checking because I'm rusty. Okay, Scope, you should have an email. So congratulations. You should have an email. If you don't get it within the next couple of minutes, then let me know. Let's see. Modified index tool mounts or adding a frame around the door to push it out more. Oh yeah. To get them. Coconut cream Dr. Pepper is fine. Shoot. Maximizing print area, you need a click. You need some sort of way of spacing the door out if you want it enclosed. Link removal. See? I need these reminders, folks. Unpin. Ooh, you know what we can do? Or can we? Are we done? Do I have... Oh. So I'm going to give away all 10 gifted memberships that I can do because this is the last stream of the month. No. Wednesday will be the last stream of the month. Okay, I'm going to give away 5 now and 5 on Wednesday. Don't let me forget to give away 5 on Wednesday. I did have the S. The 5 came with YouTube merging. Oh, that's right. I remember. Congrats to new members. You got to go buy a lottery ticket today. Scope. You got to go buy a lottery ticket today. Delete this from the description. Save. There be any issues with motor mounts being attached to the frame? Not sure how it would work, but would the bed be less stable since it's further from the Z screws? Oh, I don't know what you're talking about there. Okay. Yeah. Congrats. Came through perfect. Awesome. Perfect. I am streaming on Wednesday. It will be index focused. We will be using the latest version that I just got of the Ember Prototypes camera to redo the camera the tool head offsets on index, and we can go through a few more like details of the setup, get the camera closer to it and stuff. Will be compatible with the Carbonara. I have no real knowledge of the Carbonara stuff, so I don't know. If it's compatible with the existing stuff, I think it should be compatible with the new stuff. Talking about extending frame rails to not lose Y with index and whether there'd be any issues with that. So you would need to extend the rails along with the frame. Your primary limiting factor in print area with any of the tool changers is going to be your rail travel. Welcome back, Neil. Did you miss out on the drawing? And 5 flathead from Buttonhead. For what? For what? What do you need flathead instead of Buttonhead for? Yeah, on any of these, it's really how your primary concern is how far you can move the motion system, and the rail is the limiting factor there. Wednesday will be a normal 4 o'clock Pacific time stream. I want some carbonara. I'm hungry. My stomach's growling. Thanks, Rogue. Let's see. Okay. So, I think this was good. Had to stretch it a little bit there, but I feel pretty good about it. We've got printed parts. We've got fasteners to organize before next Sunday. We are starting this Vertigo printer build actually on next Sunday. And then Wednesday, we'll be playing with the index setup here. So with that, thank you very much for hanging out. Ooh, Oscar hairs all over. I started the stream with a fairly clean shirt. Thanks for hanging out. We will be back at it on Wednesday and then Sunday, hoping to do a member stream in May. That is the Casadio RC car, the Subaru, and that. So like I said, a nice little break, and now we're back at it and going to be going hard at this. So take care, everyone. Hope you have a good rest of your weekend and enjoy the build. Bye.